Alright, I'll take these pieces out, put them there. That's the going side train. And I'll put this lot here. That's a strike side train, warning wheel, and the fly. And the hammer's not going anywhere. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Alright. I'll batch these up together and we'll put them in the ultrasonic. And before we put the plates in, we'll go over them with a piece of pegwood and clean up as much of the oil and dirt on it as we can. Alright, first up, going side train. We'll put these 3 wheels on. Tighten the wire. That's done. Another piece of wire. Cut it off. Strike side wheels. Going on there. Including the fly. Yep, just fits. Lovely. Alright. Twist the wire around to hold it in place. Alright, last thing we've got to do before we put the parts into the ultrasonic cleaner, let's clean up these horrible looking bushings. Alright, I'll clean up our piece of pegwood, get it clean for a start, then we'll go round and peg out each one of these. God, look at the dirt on that already, the first one. Lovely. Wow. I'll also wipe the top of the plates where this oil and grease is, and we'll check these ones up here. Not quite so bad, but none of them are any good. Right, I'll run round the winding arbor, hole here, and you can see the dirt that's come off there, oil and dirt. Turn it over, do the other side, and then, yeah, heaps of oil and dirt, making an excellent grinding compound, slowly grinding the components away. Not too bad on that side. I'll wipe the plate, get rid of the oil off it on both sides so the cleaner can do its job properly. Right, I'll do the front plate off camera because it takes time and you know how to do it anyway. I'll clean that up, then I'll come back and we'll remove the mainsprings out of the barrels so we can put them into the ultrasonic cleaner also, and then we'll clean everything up. We're now ready to take the mainspring out of its barrel so that the barrel can go into the ultrasonic cleaner and come out nice and shiny, we hope, and short of all that oil that's on it. There's a couple of ways you can take the winding arbor out of the barrel, and the purpose of that is to remove the cap there. Now you can either hit it with a hammer a few times like so, which loosens the cap, and then you just take it off. Comes off like so. The other way you can remove the cap and the winding arbor is to hit it firmly on your workbench. And it's sort of moving a bit, but not a lot. That is a tight one. We've taken the cap off that. Now we'll remove the mainspring out of the barrel. So the first thing we do there is we need to find out what size sleeve we're going to use on the winding arbor, on the mainspring winder, so we can clamp it tightly before we remove it. Alright, so first up we'll put that over the top of the spring winder, and then we'll put the winding arbor, push that in a bit, it's a bit tight there, wind it out so it'll fit, then put the winding arbor into the chuck and tighten it down. Alright, now we put the safety catch, for want of a better term, on the end of the spring winder. Reverse the spring. Now, One last piece of equipment you need is a leather glove, because if that barrel starts to slip with all those teeth on it, you'll certainly know all about it. So I'll hold it up here and we'll wind up the mainspring inside the barrel. We'll wind it up tightly, and then when it's pretty tight, we'll then insert the sleeve into the barrel and wind it on about a little under ½ an inch. And I'll show you why we do that in a moment. Alright, we've now contained the spring inside the sleeve here, so we can now remove the barrel from the spring winder and start to unwind, and then we can remove the barrel. And there's our spring, fully contained in its sleeve. Now we have to get the spring out of the sleeve so that we can go ahead and clean it and grease it. So put the winding arbor back into the chuck, put our safety catch on, and then I'll have to reverse that. Goes on that way. Okay, put our safety on, tighten it down, and then put a hook into the spring, reverse the flow of the winder, and start winding up the spring again until such times as the sleeve just slides off like that. As easy as that. Now once again, reverse the flow of the winder, very carefully let it down, because you don't want the spring to unwind too fast. Right, move the safety, we'll undo the chuck, take the winding arbor out, and there's our mainspring. Actually not looking too bad. It's a little bit of grease on that. That's nice to see, not oil, it's grease, lovely. Alright, so that now being the case, we'll now clean the spring and re-grease it and put it in a plastic bag until we need it later on. I'll be using some blue kerosene to clean the spring and a little bit of scour pad. So I'll bend the pad over, put it in the bottle of Kero. We don't need very much, just a little bit on the end. That's literally about all we need. We just push the two pieces together and that spreads the kerosene round. I've got some paper on my bench here because I don't want to get Kero on that. I've also got some paper on the carpet on the floor to save any dramas there with other members of the family. So what we do now, we take the end of the mainspring, wrap the scour pad with the kerosene in it, and slowly start to work our way up the spring, removing any grease or oil or anything else that may be on there, so we end up with a clean spring. Turn that handle a couple of times, loosen it up. Just keep running down. Now we'll start working down the spring and work our way down to the bottom. Alright, we'll put the scour pad aside and I'll get a bit of clean cloth. Now, same as before with the scour pad, put a bit of clean cloth on the mainspring and slowly work your way up the spring, removing the kerosene and anything else that it has taken from the spring. That's what we've got so far. Alright, find another clean area on the cloth and repeat the operation, rolling down the mainspring. and that's the extra little bit we got off the second time around. Right, that's how easy it is to clean a mainspring, and you can check that yourself by wiping it a little bit, having a look, and there's no dirt on it. Alright, next step is we're going to grease the spring.